Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of The Breakdown with Rothman Orthopaedics. I'm your host, Alex Hammond, and it's always Valentine's Day here at Rothman, especially with our next two guests. So we had such a fun time doing this last year that we just had to do it again. And I'll be chatting with Dr. Shailen Woods, physical medicine and rehabilitation specialist, and Dr. Barrett Woods, spine surgeon, who are also another one of our married couples here at Rothman. We'll talk with them about being married, working together, and we're going to play a little Newlywed Game, the breakdown style. All right, so I'd like to welcome into our very own Rothman physicians, Dr. Shailen Woods and Barrett Woods, physical medicine rehabilitation specialist and spine surgeon, respectively. They have been married for 15 years and have 3 young sons, 8, 6, and 4 as well. Both have been at Rothman since 2015. Am I correct on all of the dates, stats, kids, all that so far?
It feels like 15 years, but we've been together 15, married 10 and a half.
Okay, great. But thank you both for joining me today. Like I said, I know we were going back and forth in dates, but I was like, I don't care. I wanted to do this. I know we couldn't do it last year. So like I said, it's Valentine's Day year round for you all. So again, just thank you for making the time. Looking forward to chatting with you. But just want to give you both the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about yourselves individually and just kind of your areas of interest at Rothman when it comes to treating your patients. So whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Vic.
So, Shailen Woods. So, as Alex said, I've been at Rothman since 2015. I've been a doctor a little longer than Barrett just because of the way the training's set up. I've been a physician since about 2010. I graduated. And I spent some time in Pittsburgh doing similar practice, treating patients with back and neck pain. I also treated patients with sports injuries. Things that I like to do my free time.
Take care of your dog.
Yes, yeah, I like to travel. I'm sort of like most people, up and down with the exercise, but usually when given sort of the time, I do enjoy working out. Having the dog has afforded me the opportunity to run outside. Plan on doing that more. I figure if I have to be up, might as well, get a little workout out of it. So, and just enjoy spending time with the kids. Barrett and I do a lot of things together on free time as well. That's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. And the other Dr. Woods.
My name is Barrett Woods. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Originally did college in South Carolina at Clemson University, med school at University of Pittsburgh, where I met my wife, and then did residency at Pitt and then fellowship at Rothman Institute. My wife is a couple years older than me, so she was the sugar mama and held everything down for quite some time until I finished my training. And I'm still paying for that now to this day. But she was the sugar mama for quite some time, particularly when I was in Philadelphia. When I was training, she had our first son we had when I was a resident. He came literally the day before I took my orthopedic board examination. And then she got pregnant with our second son when I was a fellow. She was in Pittsburgh and I was in Philadelphia. So I definitely looked at the kid real close to make sure he looked like me because I wasn't home that. But there's no denying him. He looked more like me than any of the other ones. So, but during that year we were apart. She held down the fort, and we've been in practice here now in South Jersey for 6.5, 7 years now, and have been very happy with kind of the community, Rothman as a practice. And it's really kind of cool working together because what we do kind of complements each other. I do spinal surgery. She does pain management. And so very frequently, there's patients that she might have injected who got better temporarily, who needed surgery, or people that I saw who didn't need surgery that I sent to her. And so it's kind of cool because we see the same patients, and it's kind of cool to see her in her element. I see her as mom and as wife all the time, but to see her as doctor, to see how well respected she is, and see her take good care of people, and also to see her be tough and not take BS from people is pretty cool. To have that full kind of vantage point. So yeah, it's fun. We're having fun, that's for sure.
I want to actually back up a little bit and just talk how you guys, like, how and where did you actually meet? Like, who wants to tell that story? Is there two versions? Do you both have, like, this is what I thought happened, and then, so I actually probably want to hear both of your versions of how you met, where, and how you met.
I would say they're relatively the same, a few slight differences.
Okay.
But we met, I was finishing up my 4th year of medical school, and I was doing an elective at Howard University. And I had a friend in town who it was homecoming weekend for a lot of the HBCU colleges. And so she wanted to go out. So we went out there, really didn't have a plan. We had heard about, some parties, on the radio. And so I'm from Maryland, the Maryland, DC area. So I hadn't lived there in so long, but I guess I had assumed, it wouldn't be too hard to find these parties. And so we went there to that area. It started raining. We didn't have a lot of money, so we were a little desperate. And we were asking for directions to one of these parties. And one of his friends basically said, hey, well, you have to go up to this and make this turn, make that turn. It's raining. Or you could just go down the block and we have a party as well. We have food. You won't have to pay to get in. That seemed like the better option. So we went there and walked in. They were very friendly. And, when you just start to talk to people, they start to ask you, where you're from, what do you do? And then when I told them that I was in med school, so it was like, I guess I call it a cafe. He has a different description of the place. But when they asked me what I did, and I said I was in medical school, they just assumed that I would enjoy talking to him. So they said, hey, my friend, is in medical school. And so I looked over at him and he did not look the part. So I was like, yeah, okay. Because a lot of people, obviously when you say doctor, that can mean a lot of different things that are obviously very accomplished. People work really hard to get their doctor's degree. But then there's also some times where some people think someone is a doctor and they're really not, like they're not a doctor, that sort of thing. So I thought that was going on, like, maybe, he was sort of in the medical realm, but not quite a doctorate, getting his doctorate or a doctor. And so we just started talking and said, oh, wow, he actually is a medical student. So.
Wait, but can you go, when you say he didn't look the part, what does that mean exactly?
So he was kind of slouched, just kind of sitting there slouched.
Okay.
He had like big puffy jacket. And he just, my perception, because, I was in med school, I didn't grow up around a bunch of doctors. I don't have a whole lot of doctors in my family. So in my mind, I'm thinking polished, something like, suit, that sort of thing. And as you can see, Barrett, sometimes a little rough around the edges. And so,
but I would never tell, like he's always dressed to the nines every time I've seen him. So this is why I'm like, tell me more about this. Doesn't look the part. Like, who is this?
Yeah.
Well, this is the reformed version after years of my wife kind of the image.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we started talking, and then I realized, that he was actually, in the medical field. But he just, I don't know, the way he was sitting, like I said, he had on, I guess, like I said, this big puppy, he was kind of slouched forward. He just didn't look the part.
Okay. All right. Dr. Barrett, is this the correct, what do you think? Does her story add up?
I mean, I'm smart enough not to continually contradict my wife on the air. There are some little inconsistencies there, but I think we can go with that for the most part. I think it's Eric's attention, what she likes to say, it's a cafe. It was a club. We was in DC, Howard Home. We met in the club. I don't want our kids to say, oh, we met in the club. You want to say cafe because it sounds better. But aside from that, most is pretty factually accurate.
All right. So the cafe, because you think cafe, I'm thinking nice little coffee shop and pastries. You're like, no, it's a club in DC.
But the name of it was called Asmir's Cafe. right?
Yeah, but there was a
It was some music.
Right middle with speakers everywhere, and I thought she was gonna kiss me because I couldn't even hear her, so she had to get so close for us to talk. That's probably where the sparks first started.
There it is. All right. So I'm curious though. So you mentioned obviously earlier in your intro, you both were talking about, how you kind of ended up at Rothmans. Do you think it's was it something you guys you went in together, or you were just like, hey, I want to Rothman Orthopaedics, like if we're going to move to South Jersey? Was there ever a time you guys thought like maybe you'll go to this practice, or obviously Dr. Barrett, you said that you did fellowship here, so it's probably a little bit, the practice as a whole, but was it always kind of in your whole intention just to kind of end up in the same practice?
No, I wouldn't say that was. So, I thought that we would ultimately practice in Pittsburgh. I trained at UPMC, which is the major academic center. And, they essentially had told me that they were going to bring me back on as staff, and that my wife was already attending at UPMC. So my thought process is that I would do fellowship in Philly and then go back to Pittsburgh, and we would start our life there. I'm from Pittsburgh, a lot of ties into the city. And so that was what, I had anticipated happening. Come fellowship, I started working with Alex Caro and Alan Hillebrand and Greg Anderson, and Rothman Institute is a world-renowned practice. And the opportunity arose for me to take a job at Rothman. And so at that time, Shailen was working in an academic center. She's working a lot. I wasn't around, and I think she just kind of wanted to change the pace. And so when the opportunity arose to work at Rothman, which is, an unparalleled practice, and they had a need for physiatry as well as a spine surgeon, it's kind of just, blessings from God, pieces falling into place. It's just kind of, it wasn't something that was, South Jersey wasn't planned, Rothman wasn't planned. It was just kind of a confluence of factors, blessing, time, opportunity. It all came together, and that's why we are here now. Love
that. So excuse me. Quick question. So you have 3 boys, 8, 6, and 4, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, out of the 3, which one of them, it could be a combo, is most similar to who you are, to your personal self, and why?
I think they all have taken a little bit from each of us. I would say that from a scholarly perspective, our oldest Barrett, we call him Deuce, is very much like Barrett.
Okay.
Barrett, was someone, he worked hard, but it's one of those things where he just sort of, you tell him something, he gets it. Mm-hmm. Oh, and my oldest son is like that. As far as personality, I'm a rule follower. And my oldest son is very much a rule follower. And not to say Barrett isn't, I think that he sort of assesses the situation. Me, I'm like, if that's what the rule is, and that's what it is. And my oldest son is kind of like that. Our middle child, I think, is a mix. He's like a stereotypical middle child. Mm-hmm. He kind of says what he's thinking off of what he's thinking. He says immediately without any filter. He's very athletic, which I think maybe is a combination of the two of us. And then what would you say, Roman?
Roman it can't be too early to tell. But what I would tell you for sure is our oldest son. So you want to talk about a mama's boy. I was a mama's boy, but our oldest son is a mama's boy. So I picked him up from school, and I was like, Shailen, when she puts him in the car, she's putting him in car seats and strapping them in and all. So I was like, I picked him up from school. I said, sit in the front seat. So I put him in the front seat, put his seatbelt on, and we're driving fast. I'm like, all right, this is between me and you. As soon as we got into the house, he didn't even get steps all the way into the house. He's like, Mom, Dad put me in the front seat, and we were driving fast. Like, Barry,
look,
what's wrong with you? It was unprovoked. He told on me. It was like, I was okay. All right.
That's the rule follower. She just said that. So he's gonna he's like, this isn't right. He just felt it was off. So he was like, he's like, I'm not getting in trouble. So Dad, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. That's exactly what it was. So I think that was a pretty accurate portrayal of our kids, I would say. So youngest, he's a cannonball. It's a little too early to tell.
Yeah, the third, and I can speak to that because I'm the third. We're we're a different breed in the best way possible. So look out for that one. I have one more question before, because I want to make sure we have time for our little game. So what do you have any advice for couples that work together at the same organization, or just in general?
So I mean, I can start. I mean, I think we got a pretty healthy work-life balance in that we work in the same space, but it's not. I don't see her in the office on a day-to-day basis, and so it's not like we don't have our separate spaces. I think having you got to have some distance and some space, and so I don't feel like I'm on top of her, she's on top of me. With that said, there's so much overlap in what we do. We're constantly talking about patients. I mean, one thing about medicine is it's all consuming. It's hard to turn it off because you care about the people that you're taking care of. It's not like this is a job where you can just turn off what you're doing. And so, it stimulates a lot of conversation between me and her because we're frequently seeing a lot of the same people. And because we both care about the people we see, it's constantly on our mind, and it's things that we're constantly talking about. And I think sometimes we have to take time to just kind of unplug and say, all right, we discussed the issues for the day. Now we're going to take, 20, 30 minutes and just chill out and relax. And I think it's important to have healthy ways to decompress and try to keep things fresh because between children and busy practices and jobs, you forget about, kind of doing the things that you need to do in order to sustain it emotionally. So, I think that's probably the best advice I could give is sometimes you have to unplug and you have to have something that you can do with your spouse that allows you to kind of reset.
Great advice. Dr. Shailen, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, he said it well. I think I've worked for another practice and it was a good experience, but everything has its pros and cons. I think working for Rothman, they're very supportive of families. And so I feel like we have been able to work in an environment where we're able to sort of pursue our career in the manner that we want. Mm-hmm. For instance, I've chosen, as important as my career is, also, being home with the children is also important. And so Rothman has sort of afforded me to do both of those in the manner that I would like to do that, and also be supportive of Barrett. I know there are some situations where it's reversed, where, the woman, is kind of doing more outside of the home, and the husband, is doing a little less. So the dynamic that we have because of the support that Rothman has provided us allows it to be less stressful. So, and also those outlets.
Yeah.
Your golf.
How much golfing?
It's success. I would say that, if you turn back time, 10 and a half years ago, it should have been in the marriage vows.
Oh, that's the stuff they don't tell you. It's kind of like, once you marry, he's like, it's signed. Well, I'll tell you now that I like to golf.
This is what I tell her. Hey, there are worse habits that I could have than liking to play golf.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
But, any chance he gets, if he, finishes work or whatever it is, I'll give him a call. Where are you? Oh, I'm just, no, you hear the wind in the background.
I'm just out.
The golf course, aren't you? Yeah. And we actually, we live right on one of the holes on one of the golf courses. I had no idea. And when we moved here, he said, I'm going to go golfing. And he's like, I'm going to pick up the kids. And because, there's a lot of trees. I just never paid attention. And, he's like, I'm here. And I'm like, I don't see your car. And so he's like, go over across the, the backyard. And I see him there. So it's nice, for the kids, he and the kids to be able to do that together. Nice, quick activity to get out of the house.
Awesome. So I want to, like I said, I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but I really want to get to kind of like our little version of the Newlywed Game, the breakdown edition. So I had sent you both a series of questions. So pretty much you're just guessing, you're just answering. I'm asking you the question, you're just answering, and we'll see if your spouse has gotten it correct or just pretty much see how well you know each other. So spouse's favorite color. Dr. Shailen, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Okay. That is, well, he answered blue.
Our whole wedding was like all the girls were the bridesmaids.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he did not answer that. That's his favorite color. I'm sorry. Do you want to know what his actual response was? His response to say was hard to say, but I know she likes red bottom shoes.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
But what woman doesn't like red bottom shoes, though, right?
That's a good answer. I'm not
it
wrong.
Really was.
I'm not wrong.
All right, sorry. So I kind of messed the first one up, but essentially his favorite color is. Would you say your favorite color is blue, Dr. Barrett?
I'd say blue.
Yeah, my blue or green.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So she got that right. What is each of your favorite restaurants?
So Barrett is a creature of habit. So I just think about the restaurant that we go to quite frequently, almost on a weekly basis. I wouldn't say it's necessarily his favorite restaurant, but it's something he enjoys.
No. Answer, what's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, mine.
Yeah. Let's see if he got it right.
I would say anything that involves sushi.
I don't know. So.
Yes, I got it right.
So he said Nobu Malibu.
Yeah. Okay. That's sushi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. And then what would be your... go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, so he's supposed to answer.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I had you both answer as if... So just answer as...
Go
ahead.
He kind of answered, but we very frequently go to Oyster Creek. It's a local restaurant right around the corner from our house. The food is great. It's a nice atmosphere. It's literally like a dive bar, but our kids run around. It's kind of, so I don't disagree with that at all. We go there quite frequently, and it's a great local community spot, and our kids enjoy it, and we enjoy it as well. So
okay, she did guess that.
I said Oyster Creek.
Yeah, she did guess that for you. Dr. Barrett, what would you say would be your best personality trait about yourself?
Probably determination, resilience, not giving up when things get challenging.
Okay. I mean, those are all great traits, but she guessed that you're very generous.
Well, but that's the same thing she gave me a hard time about, too.
Listen, blessing and a curse sometimes. Now she's using it against you.
Yeah, right?
Dr. Shailen, what would you say your best personality trait is?
I'm trying to think what he would say, not what I think.
Okay.
It has to be something about mothering. Would you say maybe patience?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
and he said one more, which would kind of, like you said, go along with the mothering. Patience and very loving.
Aw, that's nice.
Oh, I love that. All right, what
He's
would
surprised. Right.
She's like, I didn't know you felt this way about me. It's also just a surprise for everyone. What would you say your favorite food is?
So for me, I love sushi. So I would say
favorite junk food. I'm sorry, favorite junk food.
Junk food. Oh, probably peppermints. Did
okay.
you say that?
Yes, he did. You guys are good.
Yeah.
What about you, Dr. Barrett? What would your?
Probably chocolate, something chocolate. She would say. I would think.
Yeah, that's in there. In there and pizza.
Pizza and chocolate, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Chuck E. Cheese.
So what you're saying is you have the diet of a 10-year-old. Okay, so your spouse's favorite band or artist.
I feel like I may have forgotten to put that on there, right?
That's okay. Yeah, you did, but that's okay. What would you say yours is? We'll let him guess. That's fine.
So favorite art, I have a few, but I'm thinking he's probably going to say Bruno Mars.
Okay.
Or Beyonce.
All right, so 1 out of 2. He said new Bruno Mars, old school Janet Jackson.
Okay, that's accurate. That's accurate.
Okay, all right. Any guesses for what his would be?
Barrett listens to music from his college days, and I don't think he's fast forward beyond the 2000s. I would say some Southern group. I would say UGK maybe, or and then if he wants to kind of be more sort of refined, I'd say Luther Vandross.
More refined. Are any of those guesses accurate?
What did you say?
So I said UGK.
That's the
yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the guess that the Barrett that you saw in the club / cafe is definitely a UGK fan.
Pretty much. That's right. That's
yeah.
exactly right.
I don't even need to know what the final answer. I just know that's probably accurate.
I'm telling you, he's stuck in like circa 2000. He does not listen to music very much since that era.
I can relate to that. I'm gonna skip around because, like I said, we're almost finished here. But I wanna what would you say your favorite TV shows are?
So for me, I like reality TV just because it's mindless TV.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think. So I'm thinking he's probably going to say, even though I don't make him watch, this is the thing, I don't make him watch my TV shows. When he comes in, I respectfully make sure, because I know it's hard to watch sometimes, but he's probably going to say The Real Housewives.
And
I'll watch them all. I have specific ones, but I'm definitely a reality TV junkie.
So he did say, he's like, so many, Real Housewives are one of those spinoffs. So when I got that answer, I was like, she's definitely a Potomac housewife and maybe in Atlanta.
I like Atlanta. I pretty much just Atlanta. I started watching Potomac a little bit.
Okay.
But mainly, I just watch Atlanta. I watch the Married to Medicine, real estate shows. So I'm always looking at a lot of real estate shows. They have a lot of, home improvement, those sorts of things.
Right. Okay. Well, for the most part, he was correct. What about your guess?
I mean, I would think she would say something pertaining to golf, but I would tell you what our new favorite show is, Bel Air.
Oh.
The new spinoff, the fresh. It's really good. We've been really enjoying watching that together. But I would think she would say something pertaining to golf is what I would say.
She said Narco.
I said no.
Oh, Narcos. I like that too. I like that too, for sure.
You're like, that was my third guess.
or actually, if I could I would say YouTube stuff.
Okay.
It's always looking at stuff. He'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. There's this guy. He goes to all these different countries and speaks their languages. You see this? I'm like, okay. But it's really neat.
I love that. All right, I'm going to ask one more question. Who is the better cook?
So he's going to be kind and say it is me, but I'm a work in progress.
Okay.
She came a long way since the first time I met her. I tell you that.
Well, I mean, I really only could go up because his mom, that was something that his mom does well. I'm
Okay.
sorry, does well. And so, there's no way I would be able to
Compete.
go neck and neck. I tried at first and then I just realized, hey, it's never, that's her thing. I have my thing.
Right.
So everyone's starving, but work in progress.
Everyone's fed. Everyone's
yes,
happy. Yeah, so he said you were, but he said that that he could grill. And then obviously exactly that. He didn't necessarily say you've come a long way, but he said he will say me. That's what you said, but I think he is better. So you guys, I would give you the accuracy on that. But yeah, so that kind of how do we feel you did on this game? You guys feel like you know each other? I think you
pretty good.
Yeah, I think you did pretty good. But I just wanted to wrap up, and again, any last words, anything you'd like to offer? Again, just really appreciate you both joining me, but anything to wrap up?
I would just like to thank you for the opportunity to talk. We feel very lucky and blessed to be part of Rothman Institute and to serve the community. Me and my wife are both very dedicated to what we do. And she is definitely an incredible house manager and mother and allows me to work the way I do. But she also works a lot as well. And it's really cool that we both kind of have the opportunity to see and take care of people. It really is a big part of who we are. It's something that occupies a lot of our life, and we're dedicated to it. And we're really appreciative of Rothman for providing us a platform to be able to do it.
Awesome. Dr. Shailen, anything to add to that?
He said it well.
He did.
I agree.
He did.
Happy to be in the area, serve the community, raise our children here as well. We've been very happy.
And you both are doing it all wonderfully, seamlessly, and like I said, not even sweat or hair out of place. You guys do it so well. So again, I just want to thank you both for your time. Appreciate everything you do, and hopefully see you sometime soon and do it again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Dr. Shailen Woods and Dr. Barrett Woods for joining me today. Please visit our landing page, rothmanortho.com/podcast for all available episodes. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, and a few other listening platforms, so make sure you subscribe, like, and share on whatever platform you utilize. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, take care.